Hello champions, today we are going to learn what API is, what the use of it and why it is very useful, because if you understand the concept of it, then it will help you with me in the project that we are going to build with the Django REST framework. So look at here, as a browser, if you want to get any data from the database that is available on any server, you pass on the request and that request is cached by web server, and from the web server that request is passed on to the database. On the basis of your request, database filter it and then get the required data and then respond back to the server, and from the server it is responded back to you or your browser as a client. Now this channel is not so healthy. Why it is not so healthy? Because now the web server is not more there just a bridge. So if you want to access the database from the browser, you can go to database and then you can do whatever you want to do, which is not the healthy solution, because we need some kind of restrictions. Even though you might be thinking, hold on a minute, there is authentication, there is verification, there are securities, there are lots of hurdles. Yes, but hacker can do anything if they want to do, because they are always trying to check for the loopholes, and they always try to enter in your database and then they are trying to steal entire data, and this is all the game is all about. So developers were thinking, no, they actually require something in middle of the database and the server, because you cannot put anything between browser and the web server. No, the server, it should be in the direct contact of the browser, but between the web server and the database they were looking for something, and then they came out with a very brilliant idea. What they did, they created a window. They said, now we are creating a window, and then they put the name of that window API, or you may say REST API. So they just created a window, and what the use of that window is, if you want to get any request, like if you want to get any data and you want to request to the database, so your request will go to the web server as previously it went to, but from the web server it won't go to database, rather it will go to API. And what API will do, API can work in the two ways, but we are talking about the live API working. So now API will go to the database, it will get the data, and then it will respond back, database will respond back to API, and from the API it will be responded to server, and from the server to you. Now you might say one thing, now what's the difference between then web server and API? Now the difference is your web server is live always, but your API is not always live. You can apply more restrictions on the security on the API but not on the web server. What do I mean? If your API is only built to reply back your name, so if you ask what is my name, it will just answer you what is your name from the database. But because it is not having any other information, if your browser is asking for like the age, it will not respond back, because it is not having any access to your other fields of data. So it can only reply back to you if you are asking for the name. However, if you are talking with the server, the responsibility of server is not to filter the data. The responsibility of the server is to make channel to get access to your database and provide you what you want. That's it. So API is very cool idea. Number two, I said API is not always live. What do I mean? Now think, when you are making any transaction, banking transaction, and you are paying any bill or dues, you will notice every transaction is not posted debit or credit from your account right away. It never happens. Mostly it takes 1 day or 2 days. But if you directly go to your bank and then you do any transaction directly from the bank, inside the bank, it happens right away. But if you are doing online transactions, it takes couple of seconds, couple of time, couple of minutes to process it. And why it happens? Because the API, it holds the data, it check it, whether the transaction, whatever the transaction is happening inside the API that is requested by the customer is genuine or no, is there any kind of risk, is there any kind of forgery, or is there any kind of security breach into it. So it will filter it, and it takes time to do it. One more thing that you can do with the API, you can develop the JSON data. Like the it's the JSON data. API provide always the data in the JSON format. So what if you are having already preserved JSON data on the API, and if you are making any kind of working with the API installing or persisting the data inside that JSON file, and at the end of day your database will be connected with the JSON, and then verify, okay, what the transactions was, what the information you were changing, you were looking into, and then it will filter down everything, and when it will make sure that okay, everything is at the order, how there is no any kind of security breach, there is no harm, then it will persist everything from the JSON into the database. So this is very cool feature. The API is now used everywhere. So if you know to build how to build API, you can work by your own. So when we will be creating the project, I will teach you step by step everything, how to build up your API, how to connect your API with the web server, how you will get, put, delete, post every data, any value into your database using API. So see you in the project. Till then, take care.